Yeah, hi, my name is Rami. I'm the one in charge of www.techieguides.net, the Linux blog. Today I'm going to explain how to, or basically give you a guideline on how to set up your own dedicated email server. Now I'm using SSH, which is a client, SSH client, which is known as PuTTY. And what we're going to do here, I'm just going to go through a guide on setting up the host name, Dovecot, and Postfix. So basically, Dovecot is basically which allows you to receive your emails. Postfix is for sending your emails. Now, what we're gonna do here is I'm gonna type the command which is required for setting up the mail server. We're gonna first basically sort out the host name, the host, and then basically after that it will be initiating the installation of both Dovecot and Postfix for you. So what I'm going to do here, as I said, is in the terminal I'm going to type in sudo space vi. I mean, you could use nano or gedit, whichever one you prefer, but I prefer vi. And then a space and a forward slash etc, which is the directory. And then in there'll be a file known as hostname. And then what I'm going to do here is press enter. It will ask for your password, of course. So basically I'm going to type in my password, and what it does is it gives you a list of information. Now what we'll need to do here is enter. So if you've got a domain, enter your domain name in here. In my case, mine's techieguides.com or .net, etc. What I would advise, of course, is depending on your host, what I've done, of course, with my domain is I've created a subdomain of the main domain. So in that case, what I mean by that is if you've got a website which is www.domain.com and you want to set up a mail, like a webmail or a mail server, then basically in your case it'll be mail.domain.com. So you need to log on to your host, whether it's 111, 123 Reg, GoDaddy, whatever it is, and it should allow you to add a subdomain of your domain, and you just basically enable. So once it's added, that it should enable it straight away, or you may have to enable it depending on the settings itself. In my case, 1&1 are the host, the provider of my websites and everything, in which case, as I said, I'll just set it as mail.domain.com, which I've already enabled on there. So what we'll do here is come to the stage whereby in the hostname file, this is where of course we're gonna make any modifications, etc. And then of course proceed on after that. So in this case, what I'm gonna do here, where you get the green thing, you might have to press like shift, go right to the end of the last letter, which is S in my case. Press shift and A, so it takes you after the S, and then you're just gonna press enter. And then type in basically, as I said, techieguides.com. You could type in, of course, as I said, whatever your domain is. As I've got more than one, I'm going to put both of them on in here. So once you've added those, you're going to press shift and colon. Right, sorry, my mistake. Press escape. Then shift and colon, it'll take you right to the end, and you just type in WQ. And that will basically, as I said, show you that's basically saved. If you want to view what's in that file, just do sudo cat, which allows you to view it, and then basically etc/hostname. Press enter, and then you can see it's showing here the techieguys.com, techieguys.co.uk, and then of course it takes me back to the end where the terminal is, so that we could then proceed with any further actions, etc. in the actual terminal itself or the command line. Next, after that, of course, in the terminal, we're going to edit the host file. So in that case, what you're going to do is you're going to type in sudo space vi space /etc/hosts. press enter. Now it will give you a list of host name, etc. Now what I'm going to do here, now I've already added a few, but I'm going to add the others as well. So I'm going to enter, so it's going to be escape I, then 192.168.1.64, leave a space, and then you can enter mail.domain.com, or whatever you want to call it. Press enter, add the next one. And basic, as I said, so that's everything added. So what you've done here, I've entered the IP address of the server, which is 192.168.1.64, and as I said, I've then left, of course, you put a space. I've entered like mail.techieguides.com, and I've entered mail.techieguides.co.uk. So basically those are the two subdomains. You're going to then press escape, you're going to press shift and colon and then WQ to save it. Now you can view the file by doing like sudo cat and then /etc oats. Press enter, and as you can see it shows what the changes that you've made and everything. So that's the first stage of basically, because we need the configuration itself, but there's still a lot more to it that we need to do. So the next steps of course will be to install Dovecot and Postfix as well, and then of course it'll be configuring both, in which case then of course you'll be able to then use like an email client such as Outlook or Thunderbird or Windows Live Mail, etc. to send and receive emails, and then that will be that done for you. Now I don't know if any of you have a domain name or anything like that at all, but if you do, as I said, it helps to a certain extent because then basically it makes it easier for you. If you don't have your own domain name, then as I said, you could always, if you have email from a different provider, then of course you don't need to do any of this whatsoever. It's only if you want to run your own email server yourself, rather than having one with Hotmail or Outlook.com or Live, etc., or Yahoo, and vice versa. This is if you don't want an email with those providers. You could do it this way as well. So what we're going to do here is next install Dovecot and Postfix for you. So now in the terminal, what we're going to do here is I'm going to type in, right, right here, so it's there. Which means I'm recording this thing for you, so let's right, yeah, so we're gonna type in here sudo apt -get leave a space install space Dovecot -postfix, and you're gonna press enter. So it should ask you for some instructions like do you want to install it, etc., and vice versa. Just type in Y for yes, press enter. It'll start doing this random thing whereby it's going to install Dovecot and download the packages necessary for it. So just give that a while. Just give it a couple of minutes, and then this should then complete. But then, as I said, what we'll need to do is configure it. Like I said, I do find it ideal. I mean, having your own mail server, etc., tends to be useful because then you know you're the one in control of it. You can also, I mean, depending on your domain, it's create another email account with the domain. So in my case, I created like a test one. I just called it mediatek@domain.com, and basically what I did was I didn't forward it when I created the email server with Postfix and Dovecot, and I configured using the mail server, which is mail.techieguys.com or .co.uk or .net, whichever one it is you want to use. That I want to use. Initially, it will then redirect all my emails from there to myself. So I'm not actually forwarding it. I'm hosting it myself from my server upstairs, and then basically that's how I'm accessing my emails through an email client. It is ideal, as I said, to have a static IP as well. It makes it a lot easier regarding the setup. You can use, from checking it as well, like researching it, you can use like DNS, etc. instead. So if your router, if you signed up for like DNS, you can use that and basically do it that way. But I don't know regarding reliability wise whether it will be as stable as you having a static IP. So I said it depends. So you can, I mean, on what you'll need to do, of course, is any of the articles that I've actually put online. If you just go through it, there will be most likely certain things you'll need to do. So in this case, of course, it'll be opening ports on your router as well, just to, even though the ports may be necessarily open, it's just to be on the safe side, so to prevent any issues, etc., when it comes to the full configuration of this particular system. So the next thing, of course, we're going to do is I'll be configuring Dovecot, and then after that, of course, just to make sure everything's fine with Dovecot, and then after that, I'll be configuring Postfix, and then of course after that, it'll be just testing it using your email client as normal. Now, one thing I did forget to mention is we'll need to install something called Xeme. It's one of these packages that are installed. You don't really need it anymore, so basically we're just going to remove that, which is sudo apt-get, so apt-get space remove, and then 2 minus signs purge. So basically delete everything regarding Xeme4. You're going to press enter for that, and then basically that will do what it needs to do. And then next, of course, it will be configuring Dovecot and Postfix. So we're going to run the following command, which is sudo space dpkg, which is for, you know, the package itself, minus reconfigure space Dovecot minus Postfix or dash, whichever you want to name, and then you're going to press enter. This will then reconfigure quickly the mail transport agent, because that's what Postfix actually is. Now, what's happening in my case, it hasn't actually got the configuration of Postfix, etc. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to do sudo dpkg minus sign reconfigure Postfix. Now, what should happen is when I press enter, it should come with this particular page. Now, in your case, I'm going to select internet site. Okay, you do have a list of other options, but in this case, it's going to be internet site. You're going to press the tab key, just highlight OK, press enter. It will then ask for your domain name. Now in my case is mail.techieguys.com. So as I said, once you've done that, you're going to have to then just select OK. In my case, press enter. It will say root and postmortem mail recipient. So as I said, in this case, you just either enter root or whatever it is, and then it'll be continuing on from there. So in my case, as I said, mine's going to be remote, and then I'm just going to go to OK, press enter. It will then pick up all domains, so Techie Guys, localhost, local domain, Techie Guys, etc. and so forth. I could then enter mail.techieguys .co.uk